This is Jeff Kuhner from the Washington Times, sitting in for the living legend, Michael Savage, on the Savage Nation. Michael is off tonight. I will be filling in for him tonight. Michael, my buddy, if you're listening, I just want to thank you for the incredible honor and opportunity of sitting in for you. My buddy, I get michaelsavage.com, michaelsavage.com. For the absolute latest must-read stories you simply cannot find anywhere else. 1-800-449-8255 is the number. What you're going to see on michaelsavage.com is what essentially the entire national media has been talking about now for the last 2.5 days, nonstop, around the clock. And that is the massacre in Aurora, Colorado. And in particular, there are some stories up on michaelsavage.com that show how desperate the media have been in trying to smear conservatives, tar conservatives, connect conservatives as somehow being responsible for James Holmes walking into a movie theater, a crowded, filled movie theater, on the opening night, the premiere of Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, with a gas mask, with body armor, with a semi-assault rifle, a 12-gauge shotgun, 2 handguns, and butchering 12 innocent people and wounding 58 others. And immediately, we had just heard about the massacre without even knowing who the true killer was, the identity of the killer, the background of the killer, any of his medical past, his psychological profile, on minimal information. Immediately, ABC News' George Stephanopoulos went to their supposed crackerjack reporter, Brian Ross, and right away said, we found a James Holmes in Colorado, and he's on a Tea Party website. Maybe the Tea Party, there's a connection to the Tea Party. And they had to retract it. But immediately, they were looking to discredit and smear and slander conservatives and the right in this country, somehow tying them to this act of senseless, demonic, sadistic violence. And it has not stopped. For the entire weekend, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, USA Today, NPR, it's like a drumbeat, one after another. We need more gun control. We need stricter gun laws. We have to blame the internet. We have to blame American society. We have to blame everybody for this killing, except the man who did it. James Holmes. Have you noticed when the left talks about this case, when they talk about this tragedy and this senseless slaughter, they never blame the perpetrator. They never blame the gunman. They never blame the man who's got blood on his hands. No. It's the NRA's fault. It's the gun lobby's fault. It's the Second Amendment's fault. It's the internet's fault. Now there's too much information on the internet. We have to use this now to regulate and censor and control the internet now. No, because he got so much of his bomb-making equipment through the internet. What I find most despicable is how the media in this country, like a bunch of vultures, like a bunch of scavengers, like a bunch of mercenaries, immediately seized upon this massacre without even thinking about the victims, without even thinking about their families, without even a sense of common decency and dignity and respect for the dead and those mourning the dead and those still in hospital fighting for their lives, and immediately had to politicize it. Immediately had to exploit it for crass political advantage. Now, let's take some of the arguments one by one. This atrocity occurred because there are too many guns in America. It's time to repeal or substantially modify the Second Amendment. There are over 200 million guns in the United States. 200 million. You don't see atrocities happening every day. If it was guns that was driving people to kill people, with 200 million guns, there should be a massacre every 4 hours. But there isn't. The gunman, even by the narrative that we now know, booby-trapped his apartment with over 30 improvised bombs. He had poisons. He had chemicals. You honestly think a madman like him, an evil, twisted madman like him, thinking he's the Joker, dyeing his hair in red? You see him today making his first court appearance, looking like a zombie with those zombie eyes, not saying a word, standing in court with his stupid red hair, thinking he's the Joker, a character out of a movie, out of a comic book series, determined to massacre people. You think if they had banned all guns, he wouldn't have built a bomb? And if it wasn't a bomb he would have used, it would have been some chemical or some poison? Norway has one of the strictest gun laws in the entire Western world. So do most European countries. It's almost impossible to buy a gun legally in Norway. Did that stop Anders Breivik from buying them on the black market? Because there are guns on the black market everywhere, in every country, every culture, every society. And then going in near in Oslo, attacking a Labour Party youth camp and butchering dozens of people. So gun control is obviously not the answer. The answer, my friends, is very simple. We have a morally perverted popular culture. This is what the left doesn't want to talk about. We have a morally perverted popular culture that glamorizes celebrity, that glamorizes fame, that glamorizes evil on a regular, sustained basis. Look at our Hollywood films. Almost every film now is a bloodbath. There's no morality. There's no right from wrong. Everybody now wants to be on Jersey Shore. Everybody now wants to be Paris Hilton. Everybody now wants their own reality TV show. It doesn't matter whether you deserve to be famous or not. If you do something that is either outlandish, that is either outrageous, even killing people, you will become famous in America. What have we been doing for the last 2.5 days? Except wall-to-wall saturation coverage of this man's evil deeds. I turn on Fox News, they won't stop talking about it. CNN, they won't stop talking about it. MSNBC, they won't stop talking about it. They're giving this man what he's always wanted, fame and celebrity. That's why it's almost become like an annual ritual in America. Some sick, twisted, demonic person says, you know what? I'm going to be famous, and I'm going to shoot up a campus, or I'm going to go to a political rally like Jared Loughner did in Arizona, the Tucson shooting last year, or this guy, James Holmes, and I'm going to butcher 8, 10, 12, 15 people, and suddenly everybody's going to know my name. Everybody's going to know my story. I will become immortalized, at least for a while. And the media makes money off of it. Hollywood makes money off of it. Television makes money off of it. And the more eyeballs you can get, the more people fascinated with the blood, with the terror, with the evil, the more money and ads they can sell. And so it's like a self-perpetuating cycle. So you have a society swimming in this cultural poison that we've been indoctrinating and feeding our youth, day after day, week after week, year after year, in an amoral celebrity culture where we no longer teach values. We've abolished Christianity from the schools. We've abolished faith from the public sector, from the public culture. What do you think you're going to get? You're going to get a Jared Loughner. You're going to get a James Holmes. That's what you get. And yet, instead of recognizing this, look at how the liberal media constantly have been pushing their own causes. Gun control being at the top of the list. But it's attack the Tea Party. It's attack talk radio. It's to attack the Second Amendment. And here, to me, has been one of the most egregious acts of liberal media propaganda exploiting this entire crisis. Bill Moyers, LBJ's press secretary, the guy they love on PBS, this guy keeps running down America nonstop. He loves to say this country is an evil nation built upon slavery and exploitation. Well, you want to see one of the worst egregious abuses of trying to politicize this scandal? Here is Bill Moyers, in his own words, saying, you know what? No. The reason why we had the Colorado massacre is because America and Americans are inherently violent, bloodthirsty, and inept. This is part of our history. We're an evil people. And that's why we do evil deeds. You think I'm kidding? Boys, roll clip 4.
This too will pass, and the nation of the short attention span will quickly find the next thing to divert us from the hard realities of America in 2012. We are, after all, a country which began with the forced subjugation into slavery of millions of Africans and the reliance on arms against Native Americans for its westward expansion. In truth, more settlers traveling the Oregon Trail died from accidental, self-inflicted gunshot wounds than from Indian attacks. We were not only bloodthirsty, we were also inept.
Anti-Americanism. That's his cause célèbre. And so my question to the savage nation is a simple one. What is the worst story that you've heard? What is the worst tale that you can tell the people of America and the savage nation of flagrant liberal media bias? What is the worst example that you've seen of the media elites in this country trying to politicize this massacre in Aurora, Colorado, to push their left-wing cause? 1-800-449-8255. This is Jeff Kuhner from the Washington Times, sitting in for the living legend, Michael Savage, on the Savage Nation.
Savage.